Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys to post your ideas, and I'm going to give you some questions, and we're going to just brainstorm some possible answers to that. And along the way, you can get some of my kind of insight on what types of vocabulary are going to be impressive to the examiners, right? And also, I want to check that you're using this vocabulary correctly. So if we come out with a new word, I might ask you to write an example sentence in the comments, okay? If you're watching this video later, play along with us, okay? Post your ideas for vocabulary in the comments. Now the first question, our topic today is family, okay? That's what we're going to be focusing on. So my first question here is, I'll put it in here. There we go. Do you have a large or small family? So let's hear from you guys. What do you think? Large or small? So we got from Bangladesh, welcome. Greeting from Mexico. Ooh, very nice. From Bangladesh. Yes, Nairobi, it's true, you're from Bangladesh. Dubai, all right, very nice. And Lynn, hello, welcome. All right, you guys. I think from Brazil over there. So we got from all over the world coming to the lesson today. So let me ask you guys, do you have a large or a small family? Just go ahead and type a couple of ideas in there. Oh, from Canada. I'm sorry. For some reason I thought you were from somewhere else, but anyway, welcome. Okay. Yeah, so a large or small family. In my case, I have a kind of a mid-sized family. Yeah, let's see. I have a mid-sized family. I have 3 siblings. Okay, I am the oldest in my family. Okay, of course, aside from my parents who are older than me. Let's see. My extended family is big. Very nice. I was kind of leading up to that vocabulary word. That's right. My extended family is big. I grew up in a huge family. Very nice for part 1 especially. That's a good word to use. My extended family. Family is very big, or let's say, I'm just going to use huge. My extended family is huge. That goes for me as well. Yeah. I have, let's see, I think I have something like 11 or 12 uncles and aunts. No, that's not even right. I have over 20. And countless cousins. Actually, we had a new addition to our family just a few months ago. My sister had a child, and that is actually, let's see, that was my, let's see, she is my first niece. So I was very excited. Oh, I spelled niece wrong. There we go. I before E. All right. And RJ Nirob has a small family. Okay. Now, one thing about your family, if you're talking about part 3, I'm always looking for a chance to connect things to my culture. Okay? So I grew up in the Midwest region of the United States. And in the Midwest, having a large family is quite common. Okay? So that's something that I could mention in my answer, is that, yeah, for my culture, this is quite a common family size. Okay, we have 6 people in my family. That's pretty average, actually, in the Midwest. Maybe a little bigger than normal. But what about you guys? Is your family size larger or smaller than average based on where you come from? So I teach a lot of Chinese students, for example. That's a really interesting question because almost every family has 3 members, right? At least unless it's a little bit newer family, because they had a kind of one-child policy. They were only allowed to have 1 child. Some cultures, some communities, I used to teach a kind of Jewish community in New York, and their family size was more like 10. Okay, 10 was a very normal size family there. So this is a good opportunity for you to kind of go a little deeper, maybe not so much in part 1, but anytime in part 3 when you have a chance to dig deeper in and talk about the cultural norms in your country. That's a really good way to extend your ideas for this one. Okay, you could also, you could talk about how close your family is as well. Okay, and I think a good word to use if your family is quite close, you could use the word tight-knit. My family is very tight-knit. Tight-knit. Okay, knit. Do you guys know the word knit? This word might be a little bit unfamiliar to you, I wonder. Knitting. I actually used to be into knitting as a hobby. It's kind of like making gloves or hats out of yarn. Okay, so tight-knit means very close. Okay, very close family relationship. So my family is very tight-knit, and you can explain some details about that. Okay, so even though my family lives kind of all over the world, we have a tight-knit family. So for any major holidays, we always try to come together. All right. Let's see, RJ, I have a small family. I have 2 siblings. I am the eldest in my family. I have approximately 10 uncles and aunts. Yeah, you said kind of aunties, which, let's see, it's a culturally specific kind of word, but I think it's still okay. I'm the eldest in my family. Very good. Okay, great. You could also share your opinion about your family size, right? Do you have a large family or a small family? Well, my family is, I guess, mid-sized. We have 6 members in my family, and I think that's good. I have a couple of friends who have very big families, and I always felt that it would be too easy to get lost in the crowd with such a big family. And then on the other hand, having a really small family, like with no brothers and sisters, or even just 1 brother or sister, I think I might feel a little bit lonely. I like having a few siblings so that I have some very close friends to share my troubles with and to ask for advice. We have a lot of support for each other, partly because of our size, I think. Okay, Andrea, very good. Andrea used the word nuclear family, which is also a nice, my nuclear family. Now I'm going to make a change here, Andrea, and change the word nuclear to immediate. Okay? The word nuclear, you have the right meaning, but the usage is not quite right. Okay, so this is the kind of thing where context is very important. The word nuclear is actually more for discussing social issues. Okay? So for example, I could say that the importance of the nuclear family has been in decline in recent decades. Okay? So like, for example, the 1950s, in American culture, the 1950s, the 1960s, that's where the concept of the nuclear family was the most important thing. But as time has gone by, the idea of the nuclear family has become less important in American society. So that type of issue, that type of topic or conversation, the word nuclear family is appropriate for that. But for your own family, immediate is right. Immediate, just your brothers and sisters and your parents, and then extended, which involves your cousins, your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts, all of that stuff. Okay, very good though. No problem, Andrea. My pleasure. That's a common kind of a problem when you're trying to expand your vocabulary. Sometimes you need the help of kind of a native speaker or an instructor just to correct those little misconceptions. In the dictionary, if you only have a dictionary, I think that's a really common mistake to make if you don't have some feedback from a teacher. Let's move on to the next question, shall we? All right. Let's see. I'm going to kind of scroll down here. All right. Oops. And let's find another good question for us. All right, this one's a really good one for practicing kind of extending our answers. I have a speaking course coming up soon, and one of the biggest features of the speaking course is advice on how to expand your answers. Okay, the different types of things you can bring into your answers as supporting detail. So first we should think of our initial question. How much time do you spend with your family? Ooh, very good. I like that, RJ Narob, sibling rivalry. That's great, great phrase. I'm going to add that here. Give you a little example here. Sibling rivalry. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's the kind of competition, I guess, between brothers and sisters. There we go. So how much time do you guys spend with your family? I'm curious. Do you spend a lot of time with them or not too much time? Now, this is, I think, a perfect one where giving your own kind of opinion about your answer is the best way to extend. So let me give you my answer to this question. How much time do you spend with your family? Well, I actually am only able to see my family on holidays. Once a year or maybe twice a year, I am able to go back home to visit my family. But when I go, I try to spend an extended period of time at home with them. So usually I see them for 3 or 4 weeks at a time, once or twice a year. Now, for now, I think that's okay. I mean, my parents are still somewhat young, and yeah, all of my siblings are really busy in their professional lives, so they've got their own things going on. There's not that much need for me to be there around my family too often, or for too much time, but I think as I get older, I'm going to feel more and more drawn to my family and try to spend more and more time with them, especially as my parents age, if they have any health concerns. That would be a factor that would cause me to spend more time with my family later in my life. That's how I would approach this question, is to give your initial answer 2 or 3 weeks at a time, once or twice a year, or, oh, I see my family every weekend, or I live with my family, so I see them every day. And then extend that by giving your feeling on that, okay? Do you like that? Are they a little bit annoying? Do you spend too much time with your family? It's possible. One thing that a lot of candidates have trouble with is that they only answer in a positive way, right? They think somehow if they show themselves to be like really nice and kind, that the examiner will give them a better score. I find that most of what we talk about with our friends is complaining, right? most of what we talk about is things we don't like. Okay, so if your family drives you crazy, okay, if your family drives you nuts, you should say it here. Okay, I see my family every day, and sometimes they drive me crazy. You know, my grandmother, she's a very sweet woman. She's very nice, but she's so picky, and she has so many concerns about the cleanliness of our house. She's always kind of nagging me to clean certain things or to cook food in a certain way. She has very specific tastes when it comes to food. I love my grandmother very much, but she can be difficult to live with. So I see my family a lot, but sometimes I wish I had a little more space from them. Like this, okay? Sharing your complaints makes you sound really, really natural. Much more than just, oh, my family is the best family in the world and we love each other so much. Every family has difficulties. Don't be afraid to share them. Let me read some of yours here. Andrea says, we always have dinner together. Okay, Andrea, just a quick change here. We always have dinner together. Okay, a dinner, no, just dinner. Okay, because I think it is really important to spend at least half an hour every day with our close family. We can discuss how our day spent, pretty good, how our day was spent. Okay. Yeah, very nice. And Andrea, I think my my advice goes to you in this case. You know, you're explaining how your family is kind of, we spend the perfect amount of time together. That's great, and if you can expand in that way, that's fine. But often we sound more natural when we bring up some complaints or some concerns. So something like, you know, I like to see my family, you know, every day for at least a half an hour, just to talk about how our day went. Sometimes there are days when I don't want to see my family that much, but I still think it's important. Okay, so sharing that kind of, it's a little bit funny to complain about something. And I think the examiners find that more natural. Let's see, we usually, ooh, sorry, I lost your comment here. Let me open it up on Facebook and see if I can find it. Actually, I might see if I can fix this a little bit. Oh, sorry guys. See my Facebook there. I'm going to try to make this text a little smaller so that I can see more of your stuff. He's doing great participating. I guess I should have... Okay, I think that'll work. So we usually get along during special days. For instance, my father's birthday or Christmas, when all my siblings bring a variety of cuisine. Okay, that's interesting. Get along on special days. During special days is a little strange. Days we should be using on. Let's see, my in-laws drive me crazy. There we go. Actually, they always know everything better. Okay. Yep, that's perfect. My in-laws drive me crazy. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, that's a good strategy there. Let's see, Sarules asks, can you save the video class? Absolutely, yeah. This video will be uploaded to YouTube, and I'll share the link. Just check on Facebook. It's an interesting question for me. I can't spend too much time with my family because I work in a company that is outside from my hometown, but every weekend we meet with each other. That time we spend, at that time, we spend lots of time. Okay, yeah, that's good. Because I work in a company that is outside from my hometown. Outside from my hometown is a little strange. In a company that is far from my hometown would be okay, or Um, yeah, I would say far from my hometown, or just not in my hometown. Or maybe the company that I work for is not located in my hometown. Something like that. Okay, since me and my brothers live together here in the city, I can say that I always get to spend time with them. However, when it comes to my parents, since they live in the countryside, we only get to spend time together when they visit us here in the city or vice versa. Very nice answer. Ooh, good. Nice grammar, a little bit of complexity with the vice versa. Very good. The only thing I would change is just the very beginning, Irish. My brothers, me and my brothers, change that to my brothers and I. Okay, my brothers and I live together. I can spend a lot of time with my family. Ooh, hello, Osama. Welcome. All right, guys, let me grab another question here. And this time, maybe we can find a good part 2 question. Actually, let's do part 3. Ooh, here we go. This could be dangerous. Quite a controversial question coming next. I'll ask you guys to please be careful and respectful in the way that you share your opinions. This might be a bad idea. We're going to see how this goes. Should husbands and wives have different roles within the family? Why or why not? What do you guys think there? No problem, Irish. Glad to help. Any thoughts? What do you think? Oh, it's a tough one. There's certain times when I don't like these controversial questions on the IELTS because I think too often, as an examiner, it would be difficult to be objective about the score if somebody says ideas that you find offensive or something. It would be really hard. Now, how would I answer this question? Here's my kind of careful answer. I would say that husbands and wives should have different roles within a family, but I don't think that those roles need to be set by society. I think each couple can decide what their roles should be. Okay, so traditionally, if you go back, American culture is changing now, but if you go back 20, 30 years, or even somewhat now, the roles have been quite fixed by the overall society. So generally, husbands were asked to make money. They were asked to be the breadwinners. I'm going to take a pause there and write down that word, breadwinner. While the women were expected to stay home, take care of children, take care of the household, and manage the finances of the home. So playing more of a homemaker role. Now that is tradition, and I think things have been changing recently, I think for the better, where those roles do not always suit people's personalities or their dreams, their goals, or just the circumstances. Okay, so for example, if my wife makes more money than me, okay, and we have a child, I think it would make more sense for our family if my wife continued to work and I take a couple of years off to take care of our child. All right. On the other hand, if I were in a better financial situation or a better situation with my career, in that case, I should keep working, right, while my wife would stay home with the kids. But it also depends on personality. I think I actually would fit the role of a kind of house husband quite well, whereas I know there's some other men who maybe would not fit this role very well. Let's see what you guys have to say. Irish agrees with me. Very nice. Can I use spouse instead of husband and wife? Sure. Absolutely. Yep, RJ, that's a good question. They should have different roles, but they should share some tasks like parenting and some housework. That's very nice. Yeah. So, Andrea, what you're saying is that the roles should not be black and white. It's not that one person has to be the breadwinner while the other has to be the homemaker. In a way, they can share certain responsibilities, right? Maybe the homemaker would have a, well, the one who plays, should I say this? Maybe one person could have a full-time job while another has a part-time job, for example, while they take care of most of the housework. But maybe it's not healthy to have one person only involved with the economic responsibilities while the other is involved with the homemaking. Maybe that's not a very healthy. Why is that? That's an interesting question. I think perhaps if the kind of breadwinner also does some of the homemaking tasks, they can understand each other a little bit better. There's often a problem, I think, where the person who goes to work every day doesn't understand the difficulties of being a homemaker, and the homemaker doesn't understand the difficulties of being in the office. I think each person kind of resents or can grow to resent each other if they don't participate in each other's tasks from time to time. Let's see. We've got a nice long response here from Radhya. I live with my family, and my family is really, really nice, but I must say it happens sometimes, although they want to be and are supportive for my future plans regarding studies, but they are, on the other hand, they are very critical about other areas of my life other than studies. For example, they criticize all things dealing with people, dealing with siblings, etc. On the whole, I will remember the time spent with them in my later age in a very positive way. Oh, that's a nice way to conclude. Yeah, be really careful, just a grammar comment for you, be really careful not to repeat those contrast words. So you say, but I must say, and then you say, although they want, but they are on the other hand. So you use kind of four words to signify contrast there. I think just one in that case would be appropriate. So be careful not to repeat yourself. Payment ought to be shared. Nowadays it's being complicated to deal with it alone. Okay. So payment must be shared. Let's say decisions regarding payment must be shared. I think that makes more logical sense. Yeah, or the finances, managing the household. Okay, managing the household, managing the finances. Managing the finances, and what did I say? Decisions regarding finances. And you could even say household finances. All right. In general, a husband and a wife should have the same responsibility in the family, but unfortunately in my country, husbands' roles are fixed only on earning money. Just wives do everything for their lives, such as working outside and inside as well. They take care of their children, cook, do housework, even if they are tired. In my opinion, it is unfair. Okay, good. Yeah, I like that. I think one word that would help you, Azel, is the word role. Okay? The roles of husbands and wives are fixed. Okay? I think what you said was... Oh, you did say roles. Okay. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, good. And Azel, I'm not sure I'm not trying to argue with you or anything, but it's kind of interesting to think that they should have the same roles. I think you can try to be a little more specific in your opinion there. It's pretty hard. You know, there are a lot of situations that would make it difficult for each person to be 50% breadwinner and 50% homemaker. I think that would be a challenge. I mean, let's say that I make a lot of money, but my wife doesn't make a lot of money. Does it make sense for it to be 50-50? Or the opposite, right? I mean, if my wife makes a lot of money and I don't, or if I am really interested in parenting, but my wife is more interested in career success, should I say, no, it's got to be 50-50? Or should we be allowed to kind of make that decision together, kind of on our own? It's an interesting question. There's no correct answers here, so I'm just kind of trying to push your logic a little bit. Let's see. RJ, postures when you're sitting in front of the examiner. I'll tell you what, RJ, the key for posture is to be nice and open, to be nice and big, take up a lot of space. If you take up a lot of space, I mean, don't do this, but don't sit like this. Okay, don't be really closed, because it's sending kind of signals to your brain. Your brain chemistry actually changes as a result of having an open posture. Okay, you have fewer stress hormones, stress chemicals. Let's say, Lynn, generally husbands are the providers, very nice, providers of the family. I like that. While on the other hand, wives take the responsibility of nurturing. Very good. All right. However, they must come up with mutual decisions, a mutual decision, okay, with a mutual decision which is beneficial to the family when circumstances arise. Okay. Yeah, good job, you guys. I like that. I think that's a good answer. The word nurturing, I'm not sure, is quite the same as homemaker. I think there's an aspect of kind of managing the household that is not really covered by nurturing. I know that often it's taking care of children, but I think it's also cooking, cleaning. There's a lot that goes into managing a household, I think. Often it comes with finances. This is an area that differs culture to culture. So this is actually kind of a topic that you could use in your answer as well. Because like in America, for example, I think traditionally men have made the financial decisions. But I live in Korea. So I'm a professor of English here in Korea. And in Korea, traditionally, women are the nurturers. Okay, so women take care of the children. However, they also take care of the finances. So it was always interesting to me, like when husbands receive their salary, they give all their money to their wives, and then their wives give them a kind of weekly allowance to spend when they go to work and hang out with their friends. And she kind of makes most of the big decisions. I might be misinterpreting that. It's not my culture, but it's just something I've noticed. But kind of interesting twist. I didn't expect that. But all right, guys. Well, it has been lovely to talk with you guys, but it is about 12:35 after midnight here, so I think it's time to give my neighbors a rest. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you again tomorrow, I hope. Okay, bye everybody.